Happy Tuesday, North Central Washington. We're back at it for another day of television. It's the 19th day of November, 2019. This is Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. I'm Dan Kuntz, your host, and here we go for another live local television show for the next hour. We'll bring you everything you're so used to seeing and viewing. Isn't that the same thing? Here live from Studio 9 in downtown Wenatchee. Yesterday, my partner in crime, Megan, and I went up to the Executive Flight Building, which is now the headquarters of the Chelan and Douglas Regional Port Authority. I'll have to get used to saying that. The Chelan and Douglas Regional Port Authority becomes an entity legally and in all other ways on January 1st, and we had a chance to visit with the two respective Port Commission presidents. J.C. Baldwin is the president of the Chelan County Port, and her friend and my friend Jim Huffman is the president of the Douglas County Port. We sat down with those two people up at the executive flight lobby yesterday morning, and we'll air that interview. Very important interview, very informational. We'll have that for you in the back half of the program. Also, we had cameras at the Rondon Memorial Gymnasium in Cashmere on Saturday afternoon. Haley Van Lith announced where she is going to college. She was the number 8 rated prospect in the nation. She still is, but now she knows where she will be going to school. Come next year, we'll have that. That'll top our sports story. Plus, we have the weather, which is changing already as we speak. We had some much-needed rain last night into the overnight hours. Not as much as we were hoping, but we needed a little bit of that stuff. And now we're going to head into a dry and sunny pattern beginning later on today. Forecast details are coming up. Mike McNally's got a brand new opinion. It's a follow-up to yesterday's opinion. If you enjoyed it, it's about local business. We also have the Obscura holiday. We got some celebrity birthdays today in history, and a whole bunch more. And not a bad-looking morning, although the sun is still about 9 minutes away from peaking itself over the East Wenatchee bench. We're in for a fairly nice morning, we hope. Let's go check it out ourselves, shall we? Let's take you around the valley with our Valley View cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless. And we can use the cross camera again. We couldn't use it yesterday. Couldn't use it on Friday, for that matter. It was just the level of clouds and fog were exactly at the same elevation as the lens, and even though we can pan and tilt and zoom these things around, there was nothing we could do about it yesterday unless you wanted just to see a big sheet of grayness, but not today, not nearly as thick with the clouds and the fog today. A couple of low-lying clouds hanging around over the dam and over the sunny slope, but outside of that, skies are already starting to clear. Going to have a couple of stray raindrops linger across the region today, but for the most part, this is the transition day before we go into some cool, dry, and very stable weather with a high-pressure ridge, which will nose into our area starting later on today. So, and the cross camera looks to me to be panned up a little bit and tilted and pulled back a little bit. That's quite the view of the Wenatchee Valley. Now I get to guess. Megan gets to choose. I don't know. As she brings it up, I have to decide what we're looking at, and I don't know. Okay. Well, I'm sorry. Once again, Megan? Oh, the small town tower. That's US 97, I think, the highway. I think that's the Douglas County side of the highway. Certainly there's a big body of water there. That would be the Columbia River. A beautiful view there. Good work, Megan. She really threw me for a loop on that one. We don't use that one very often. Camera number 3. Let's see if she does it again. Now that's Apple Andes. I recognize that immediately. You can see the snow way up in the Cascades. It could get a little dusting of snow. The snow level is going to go down to about 1,800 feet over the weekend. But unfortunately, for those people who like the snow in the upper elevations, specifically you ski resort folks who ski and snowboard, even though the snow level is going down, there's no real precipitation with the snow level. So we're going to have some dry air in place and mostly clear skies, even though it's going to get quite chilly at night. In fact, we could even see an air stagnation advisory towards the back half of the week. It looks like that scenario may play itself out. Good morning, Cashmere, from the Apple Andes camera. Camera 4 is Jump Off Ridge. Great shot there. Good call, Megan. The Stamil Basin is to your lower left-hand corner. Can't quite make out Malaga. You can make out Pangbourne Memorial Airport. The 6 a.m. flight did not make it out this morning. Of course, the 6 a.m. flight is the first flight out from Horizon. It did not make it out, which means that the last flight last night, the midnight flight, didn't make it in because that's the same plane. They turn it around, they fill it up, they clean it up, and they make it the 6 a.m. flight the next day. So for you folks who were planning to fly from Pangbourne to SeaTac this morning, you had to find another alternate route, although it looks like they could probably take off now. So, but again, it's not the taking off. You can take off in pretty foggy, bad visibility. Taking off isn't the problem. It's the landing part. and when the late night plane can't land, it's not there to take off the next morning. Great view from Jump Off Ridge with the Wenatchee Valley way off into the distance. Yeoman's work from my friend 3M this morning. All right, 6 minutes after the hour from our friends at Patriot Plumbing, Heating and Cooling. They give your home a hug. Let's have the Patriot rig. There it is. It's going to park right there. What are we looking at today? National Weather Service says we'll have some little residual showers this morning. I think we're pretty much done with it. A couple of stray raindrops here and there. Outside of that, quite a bit of cloud cover this morning, and then gradually we'll have some clearing skies. By the time we get to early afternoon, it'll be quite sunny. We'll top off at 50. Very warm for this time of year. Our normal high is about 41 or 42, so it's going to be a very mild day. Can still maybe get a little golf in. No real wind in the forecast, and I think we're pretty much done with the rain. Clear skies tonight, 31 for the overnight low. So this is when the storm system is going to be gone by this afternoon, and then we have very stable weather. Really nothing to talk about as the high pressure comes in. So it'll be dry and clean and crisp and clear tonight, 31 for the overnight low. Sunshine and 46 expected on Wednesday. Wednesday night will dip down to 26, so those overnight lows are going to get down there below freezing for the entire forecast period, as you see there. Sunshine Thursday, top off at 44. Sunshine Friday, 46. It's a pretty good high pressure ridge, not as big as the one that dominated our weather in the first few days of November. You remember we had about 10 straight days of that huge dome of high pressure. This one that's coming in later on today, that's going to keep our conditions dry and sunny, is not nearly as strong. In fact, it's going to flatten out and break down. By the time we get to Saturday, we'll have lots of clouds and a high of 48. Sunday could even see a raindrop or two, high near 48. And as I mentioned, snow level Saturday and Sunday is going to go way down there, but there is no precipitation really in the forecast. So if you're looking for some low elevation snow, Sunday into Monday is the best chance of that. But right now, National Weather Service says, passes might get a little bit of dusting. Cascades will get a little bit of dusting, but the Wenatchee Valley proper, probably no real snow. It has been an abnormally dry November after a record wet and cold October. It's been a strange weather year, hasn't it? But Mother Nature gets to call the shots. We just have to tell you what the National Weather Service thinks is going to happen, and their batting average is pretty darn good. You got to give credit where credit is due. 8 minutes after the hour, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll have your Tuesday morning headlines. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We're broadcasting live this morning from Studio 6 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Live channel.
My name's Tashina, and I live in Chelan. I've been a CVCH patient for several years. The thing that I love about CVCH the most is like everybody knows everybody. That's just a really kind of special thing, is kind of takes that phobia of being in the clinic away. I would just tell all the CVCH staff that they're doing great, and thank you for making us feel comfortable, and you guys are always there for us, and the whole staff checks in on us, and we really appreciate it.
Bring the whole family up to Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house in historic downtown Chelan. Applewood smoked brisket, street-style tacos, and our award-winning barbecue rubs and sauces. Our meals pair perfectly with our exciting lineup of craft ales, made right here in Chelan. We've got room for big groups, or give us a call for catering. So grab the kids and check out the fun at Stormy Mountain Brewing and local public house located in the heart of Chelan.
We're back at 9 minutes after the hour. It is overcast and 39 degrees outside of our studios. A couple of light raindrops over the next 45 minutes or so. Then we'll see gradual clearing with a high near 50 and quite a bit of sunshine this afternoon. Here's your Tuesday morning news. A Wenatchee resident allegedly stalked and attacked a man with a baseball bat because he was jealous over his relationship with a woman. 35-year-old Jess Jerome Cunning was jailed after the assault. This happened late Friday. Cunning allegedly met the victim at a tavern earlier that night, followed him to the woman's home in the 500 block of Sunset Avenue, and then slashed the tires of his car. When the victim left the residence later that night, police say Cunning chased him, struck him with a bat, and tried to stab him. He then fled the scene. He was arrested at his home. The victim suffered a head injury, as you might imagine, and multiple cuts and bruises. Cunning faces possible charges, including first-degree assault. Well, the Leavenworth man who drew a gun on a FedEx driver back in September was sentenced to 45 days in jail plus a year's probation. James Potridge pleaded guilty to a count of third-degree assault, was sentenced as a first-time offender. The case began back on September 23rd. That's when Potridge brandished his gun at a FedEx driver, saying he thought the driver had threatened him. Potridge, who's 36 years old, must also surrender his concealed pistol license and complete an anger management program. Well, the man who fired gunshots at the CEO of Gebbers Farms 3 years ago is now headed to prison. Mark Reynolds Worth, who's now 49 years old, opened fire on Cass Gebbers with a handgun from his moving vehicle outside Brewster. This happened back in September of 2016. The bullets shattered the windshield of Gebbers' truck, but did not strike Cass Gebbers. An Okanagan County jury in August found Worth guilty of attempted murder, and on Friday, Judge Harry Rawson sentenced him to 25 years. Worth is a former Pateras real estate broker who's been held in jail since the attack. He allegedly stalked and harassed a female relative of Cass Gebbers 2 years prior to the shooting. Gebbers Farms is one of the largest orcharding and cattle operations in the United States. Well, the city of George still doesn't know who's going to be the next mayor come January of 2020. The incumbent mayor, Jareen Nelson, is tied at 28 votes apiece with Don Ensel. Interestingly, there was a write-in vote for mayor. Now, Grant County still has an estimated 20 votes left to count, but that's for the entire county, and so we don't really know if any of those outstanding ballots are from residents who live in the city limits of George. Nelson was first elected in 2015. The November 6th election day results showed Ensel leading her by one vote, 22 to 21, but the subsequent counts have tied things up. State law says if the race remains tied, after the final count is all said and done, the winner will be decided by a coin flip. Well, the body of a missing Colville pilot was found Saturday in Sullivan Lake in Pend Oreille County. 67-year-old Terry Coleman had been missing since Monday. That's when he flew out of the Colville airport for what was supposed to be a 1-hour flight before returning to Colville. A massive 6-day search for Coleman ended Saturday when his body was found by a resident in Sullivan Lake. The Cessna 182 Skyline he was flying is believed to be submerged in Sullivan Lake. And finally, a magnitude 3.5 earthquake was recorded early Monday morning, about 15 miles northeast of Coulee City. The Pacific Northwest Seismic Network confirmed the quake at about 8:48 yesterday morning at a depth of just under a mile. Several residents of the area reported briefly feeling the quake, but the Grant County Sheriff's Office said apparently there was no damage and they did not receive any calls to the 911 dispatch center. That's the news at 13 minutes after the hour. Once again, it'll be a busy news day in the newsroom. To preview tonight's news at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock, here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, what is the future of the popular Wenatchee downtown business radar station? We'll have a look at numbers from this year's NCW Fair in Waterville. I'll have your North Central Washington weather forecast, and Eric Granstrom will have your first look at the upcoming NCW Life winter sports schedule. That and much more coming up tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. Hope to see you then. Dan?
I make a point to watch the NCW Life Evening News. We hope you do too. And if you want to be a part of our news team, you won't get paid, but we always like news tips. So we invite you to get a hold of us. You can call us at the number that you see at the bottom of your screen. You can go to our website at ncwlife.com, click on the Contact Us icon. You can just drop us a note, or you could submit a news tip that way. Email is a great way to get a hold of us. News at ncwlife.com is our email address, news at ncwlife.com. Or you can go to our Facebook page. Be sure to like us. We like it when people like us. And you can use the messenger there and drop us a line via our Facebook page. We try to make it as easy as possible for you to get a hold of us. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Haley Van Lith, the Cashmere standout guard, has made her decision on where she's going to go to college. Hint, it's a large city in Kentucky. Sports is 1 minute away. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley from Studio 5 in downtown Wenatchee on the NCW Life channel.
I'm Joel Frank, the managing principal of Equus Group and Equus Capital Partners. Equus is a vision, a team of innovative thinkers, builders, and executives. Equus, driven by a passion to protect and grow its investors' wealth through income-producing real estate. Discover wealth management and commercial real estate investment opportunities at equuscapital.com or call and learn more today at 509-665-8349.
The Cottage Inn has been a Wenatchee Valley landmark since 1940, making it one of the longest-running locally owned restaurants around. And it's better than ever. Steak, seafood, and their famous homemade desserts for dinner, wonderful lunch items, and breakfast on Sundays, all made from scratch and at an affordable price. It's no wonder the Cottage Inn has been so popular for over 75 years. Enjoy a fabulous meal today at the Cottage Inn on Easy Street in Old Station. Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on this Tuesday, the 19th day of November. I'm Dan Kuntz. Let's do sports.
After lots of praying and talking with my family and friends, I have made my decision. I know you and God are smiling down on me because you have always liked the color red better anyways. I'm committing to the University of Louisville.
That is Cashmere's Haley Van Lith announcing the University of Louisville as her college of choice. She said she had a chance to play around with the Louisville players and coaches over the summer, and that helped seal the deal.
I think it was really important for me to feel comfortable with the girls I was going to play with, the community that I was going to be playing for, and especially the head coach, and Louisville just had all those pieces for me. All my schools and my finalists were really good, and I had to figure out what I truly wanted for myself, and I just think at the end of the day, Louisville was all that I wanted for myself. But the other schools that I had left were great schools, and I loved those girls and those coaching staffs. But Louisville just touched me a little bit more. It was really hard, and it took a lot of thinking and talking with family and friends. But ultimately, I think Louisville is just the best fit for me, basketball and person-wise, and I'm super excited to get out there.
Haley Van Lith is rated as one of the top high school basketball players in the country. She's been heavily recruited since she was a freshman. She says the process has been crazy for both her and her teammates.
I think that it's something that is cool for them to experience with me. But I think that we're very focused on each other, and they understand that they are so important, and I would never be here without them. And they're just as much as part of my success as I am, and they're super excited for me, and I couldn't have asked for better teammates.
Van Lith says she's happy to announce her decision before the basketball season begins for Cashmere so they can concentrate on the task at hand.
I'm so grateful that I just have it done with, and this decision is over and made, and now I can focus on a state championship with my teammates and just have fun my senior year, my last year here. My goal is a state championship. That's the last thing. We've never won one here, and this team is really talented, and I think we can do it. And we all are passionate about it, and we're all in on this season, so we got it.
All the local high school basketball teams began practice in earnest yesterday. That includes Cashmere. Their first game of the season, by the way, December 7th when they take on LaSalle. Speaking of basketball and the sports season ahead, we have our NCAA Live Channel winter sports broadcast schedule ready to roll. Take a look. So we're going to be doing, let's see, how many games are we doing? A lot. In fact, our coverage, first of all, doesn't begin until 2020 with our first broadcast. We're going to be doing that January 10th at the Town Toyota Center. That's when the Eastmont Wildcats will host the Wenatchee Panthers in a girls and boys basketball doubleheader. All told, we'll be covering 18 basketball games and 3 wrestling matches live right here on the NCAA Live Channel. We'll sprinkle in some girls bowling on a tape delay basis between Wenatchee and Eastmont. We're also working on things technically to see if we can include a little Cashmere basketball here and there so you can get a chance to watch Haley Van Lith this winter. By the way, for details, and you can download this winter schedule, print it up, and put it on your fridge, you can go to our website at ncwlife.com. But we still have some fall sports to take care of, including the Wenatchee volleyball team. They're at the state tournament. They'll take on Curtis in the first round of the 4A volleyball tournament. It's going to be at the Sun Dome in Yakima. It is Friday at 11:45. A win puts Wenatchee into the quarterfinals against the winner of Camas and Lake Stevens at 8:15 Friday night. If the Panthers lose, they go into the consolation bracket against the loser of Camas and Lake Stevens at 6:45. The Seattle Seahawks game against Philadelphia not going to be televised in prime time on Sunday night. The NFL has flexed out the game in favor of the 8-2 Green Bay Packers and the 9-1 San Francisco 49ers. That makes sense. That means their Seahawks will kick off at 10 a.m. in Philadelphia. Of course, they came off a bye week, so Seattle got back to practice yesterday. Coach Pete Carroll was happy to see everybody back, and he hopes to see Tyler Lockett later on this week.
Just getting back to our football and getting going again. We got a big trip coming up going to Philly, and I know that they're I watched their team enough over the break here to really appreciate the style they play with and all this. We got to get ready to go. So I'm hoping that our time off helps us, and we come back with fresh legs, and we can jump right back into it. And so today's practice was really important for us setting up, getting the week started on Wednesday. So see if we can make the most of it.
How's Tyler doing?
He's doing better. He's doing better. We'll know later in the week his status. We're hoping that he's planning on him being able to play, but yet he's got to show it to us, and so we'll see.
Seahawks defense, of course, coming off that overtime win over San Francisco. They turned in 5 sacks. They had an interception, and they forced a couple of fumbles, too.
This was our best performance against a really good club and a very determined offense and the style of offense that we really respect, and this was our best performance. We were the most active we've been in terms of pass rush. The consistency in the run game was there, and also the activity in pass coverage. You know, we had a lot of balls that were tipped, and we really could have had 4 interceptions without doing anything different. You know, so that was just overall performance. I thought we needed it most because we had a hard time on offense taking care of the football, and so it was really a great time for the defense to step up to this kind of level. And then I'm looking forward to let's see it again, you know, and let's go back out this week and see if we can play like that again and be that much of a factor in the game.
So again, they moved the kickoff. It's not going to be on Sunday Night Football. It'll be on Fox at 10 a.m. on Sunday. The Seahawks and the Eagles. And those are just some of the games that people are playing on this Tuesday, the obscure holiday on this 19th day of November. It's World Toilet Day, and it sounds like I should tell 2 or 3 toilet jokes. I'm not going to do that. This is actually serious business. It draws attention to the fact that 2.5 billion people do not have proper sanitation. That's 1 out of every 3 people on this planet do not have access to sanitation. They have to do their business right out in the open, and that leads to diarrhea, schistosomosis. 60% of all diarrhea cases, scientists estimate, are caused by poor sanitation, unsafe water, having to do your business just in a stream or a river. So about 1,000 children every day die because they do not have access to proper sanitation. Who's kidding who? It's also a human dignity issue as well. I mean, nobody wants to do their business right there with everybody. They're trying to make this human health issue, and so far, so good. We're getting there, but still, it's a remarkable fact when you think that 1 in 3 people on the planet do not have access to clean sanitation, bathrooms and toilets and running water. It's a problem. It's a problem indeed. World Toilet Day, and it's a UN thing. They're the ones who started it way back in 2001, World Toilet Day. I'm so proud of myself. I didn't tell any jokes. 24 minutes after the hour. Today in history. Probably the most famous speech in American history is the Gettysburg Address. 156 years ago, Abraham Lincoln delivered the Gettysburg Address at the dedication ceremony at the military cemetery in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The exact wording of the Gettysburg Address is disputed. There are 5 different drafts, and they all have something a little bit different about it, be it punctuation or words that were flip-flopped. He wrote the script by hand on the plane trip there, the speech, and then they asked for copies, so he rewrote more copies in hand, but he changed the speech with each subsequent copy. Ironically enough, during the ceremonies, the main speaker was not Abe Lincoln, it was Edward Everett. He was the main speaker that day. He spoke for 2 hours. His speech was over 13,000 words long. It's amazing everybody stayed awake long enough to hear somebody talk for 2 hours. And Abe Lincoln stood up there and spoke the Gettysburg Address, which was just 271 words. It is remarkable reading, and it was delivered on this date 156 years ago today. Everybody should read the Gettysburg Address. Everybody should memorize the Gettysburg Address. The lessons then are pertinent as they are today. November 19th, 1998, 21 years ago, during the impeachment of Bill Clinton, well, the Judiciary Committee of the United States House of Representatives began impeachment hearings against the President of the United States, Bill Clinton. He, of course, was eventually impeached by the House of Representatives, but acquitted by the Senate. And now we're doing it again. 21 years later. Happened on this date, November 19th, 1998. And the worst brawl certainly in NBA history, maybe even in sports history, happened on this date, November 19th, 2004. It was called the Malice at the Palace. It was a terrible brawl between the Warriors and the Detroit Pistons. Ron Artest was suspended 86 games. He went into the stands and assaulted a couple of stands. 86 games. He was suspended for the rest of the season. Stephen Jackson was suspended 30 games. I've seen the video probably 30, 35 times. It's still shocking to see that. Fans rushed the court. It was awful. The Malice at the Palace happened on this date back in 2004. And finally, birthdays. We always do presidential birthdays. James Garfield was all but forgotten today because he was only the President of the United States for 7 months. James Garfield was born in the state in 1831, was a Civil War hero, was elected to the presidency in 1880, and was assassinated 7 months into the job in 1881. He was the only, at the time, and remains to this day, the only sitting member of the House of Representatives to be elected President of the United States. During the election of 1880, he didn't even want to be president. He was a compromise candidate. Didn't even run for president, still got elected. And he and JFK are the only two presidents who died before the age of 50. Both of them, of course, from a gunshot wound. James Garfield, born in the state in 1831. Happy birthday, Larry King. I love the Larry King Show, the late night radio talk show on the Mutual Broadcasting Network. It was must-see listening for you insomniacs out there. It was an all-night show based out of Miami. It was very entertaining. And, of course, from 1985 to 2010, Larry King hosted the Larry King Show, Larry King Live on CNN. He's pretty much retired now. He sells something on Saturday and Sunday mornings on infomercials. Larry King, 86 years old today. I've always admired his interview style. Speaking of Larry King, his former boss, celebrates birthday today, Ted Turner. Ted Turner is 81 years old today. Of course, he was the founder of CNN. Everybody thought 24-hour news network, that's never going to fly. He proved them wrong there. The founder of TBS, TNT, Turner Classic Movies. He owns the MGM Library. Used to own the Atlanta Braves, and at one time, he was the largest private landowner in this country with huge swaths of real estate in both Montana and New Mexico. In fact, his ranch in New Mexico, which he still owns, is 920 square miles, the largest privately owned tract of land, single tract of land in the United States. That's as big as the state itself. Ted Turner has done well for himself. He's 81 years old today. Allison Janney has just a room full of awards, the great actress. She's now 60 years old today. She has an Academy Award, 7 Primetime Emmy Awards, a BAFTA Award, Golden Globe Awards, 7 Screen Actor Guild Awards, 6 Critics' Choice Awards, 2 Drama Desk Awards, an Independent Spirit Award. She needs a bigger mantle. She's also a really good actress. She deserved every one of those things. Allison Janney is 60 years old. And speaking of actresses who have done quite well for themselves, Jodie Foster. She has a couple of Academy Awards, as a matter of fact. She's got a couple of Golden Globe Awards. She was the recipient of the Cecil B. DeMille Award, Screen Actors Guild, so on and so forth. Jodie Foster celebrates birthday number 57 today. Happy birthday to Jodie, always one of my favorites. 29 minutes after the hour, I want to talk about Campbell's for just a little bit. Their destination deal is back. It's for you locals only, and take advantage of this before Campbell's figures out what the heck it is that they're doing. I mean, you can get a room at Campbell's if you're a local for starting at $95 a night, starting at $95 a night. Whoa, that's a screaming good deal. There's only one requirement. You just have to live here in North Central Washington. So the tourists are gone. Chelan quiets down. It's a beautiful place to go. Pop on up to Chelan for a couple of days with your loved one, or make it a couple's weekend or a party or whatever, and spend some time at Campbell's. Again, rooms start at just $95 a night, but you have to be a local. All you got to do is prove it, and you're in like Flynn. And by the way, if you're planning an office party for the holidays, you might want to give Campbell's a call and get your room booked before it's too late. They can do big parties. They can do little parties. They can do medium-sized parties. They do parties at Campbell's at Lake Chelan. They've been in business for 118 years, and who's kidding who? That's pretty darn impressive. If you've been in business for 118 years, you know what you're doing. It's the bottom of the hour, half past the hour. I got a brand new opinion from Mike Mignotti. The topic is local business, part 2. And then my conversation with J.C. Baldwin, who's the president of the Chelan County Port Commissioners, and Jim Huffman, who is the president of the Douglas County Port Commissioners. We met up at their headquarters up at the Executive Flight Building because on January 1st, it becomes the Chelan Douglas Regional Port Authority. It's a conversation you don't want to miss. It's coming up right around the corner. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
We financed our home with the help of Tracy Dry through Guild Mortgage, and we were quite satisfied with everything she did.
Tracy takes the time to get to know you. She finds what your wants are, your needs, and what works for you and your family and your financial situation.
Everything was on time, and she took the responsibility off of our shoulders. So we would recommend her anytime to anybody.
She takes care of us.
Come see how very different you will feel in your Bullfrog Spa.
Is search engine optimization right for my business? Maybe. Studies show the first and second search results get 50% of all the clicks. But you have to fight national chains to get there. If the user has to scroll down to find you, tough luck. You could hide a dead body on page 2, and the whole zombie apocalypse on page 3. Or you could spend less and get an ad in the Impact Big Print phone book, giving local businesses a chance to shine.
Impact Directories. Bigger print, better book.
I'm Jenny Rojanasatian, and this is Guada TV. Every week we will be bringing you a first look at North Central Washington business, tech, and education news. You'll hear from local influencers and innovators who live right here in the Valley. Together, we'll discuss hot topics, current events, and resources that can support your business, our schools, and this community. Join me every week, and let's get inspired.
Highlander Grill and Golf Course is known as one of the finest wedding venues in the Wenatchee area. You do not have to be a member to come to Highlander. Highlander Golf Course offers a first-class backdrop for your wedding day. Our friendly professional staff will ensure your wedding and reception is picture perfect, from every moment leading up to the I do's to when the lights go down at the end of your reception. Hi, I'm Shalane, site coordinator for Highlander Grill. Give me a call to schedule your event today.
This is Caitlin Hedersheet, the producer of the NCW Life magazine. Each week, I'm bringing you a look behind the scenes of the faces, places, and events that make North Central Washington the place we call home. Tune in every weekday for an in-depth look at a new topic each week. From local artists in their studios to businesses breaking barriers that might surprise you and everything in between. Join me on the NCW Life magazine right here on the NCW Life channel.
Transform your windows with a variety of colors and styles like the Allure Transitional Window Covering by Lafayette Interior Fashions. Hi, this is Darren with Mini Blinds and More. We can install the latest and greatest in technology to open and close your blinds with only a touch of a button. From the largest windows in your home to room darkening shades for the bedroom. From stylish shades for your entertainment room to custom blinds for those hard-to-fit places. We have a solution for all of your window covering needs. We offer a variety of window coverings from Lafayette Interior Fashions. Call us today. We are Mini Blinds and More, your local blind store.
With TV advertising, what we want to do is more deeply connect with the community.
People spot me in different parts around North Central, Costco and Wenatchee, say, hey, you're the pizza guy. And so they wouldn't know that if it weren't for the TV commercials we've done.
We've been here so long that people already know who we are and what we do, but to have that image flash on their television screen as opposed to just hearing it in the radio or seeing it in the newspaper, I just love the fact that we can actually put our finger on when a customer comes in and says, I saw your ad.
It's becoming increasingly difficult in this digital age to know where are your customers listening or watching, because I watch all the different channels that they watch too, like Cooking Channel, History Channel, and so it was wonderful to be able to be on there.
I would say that if you want to do business in Wenatchee, then you should connect with the people of Wenatchee, and there's no better way to do that than with NCW Life.
Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. So you search all over town to find out what you're looking for. You find it, you wait in line, you pay for the item, you bring it home, but then you find out it's not right, or it doesn't work, or whatever, and you try to take it back, and sure, there's some places where this is no problem, but not everywhere, not by any stretch, okay? This is one of the reasons why retail services like Amazon are such a success. Not only because of their convenience in returning an item for any reason, but because of the negative experience many of us had when attempting to do so with a local retailer. Customer service, folks. Hey, many businesses claim to practice customer service, but there really aren't too many that are doing it the right way. Many of them think they're doing you a favor by taking your money in the first place. Not good. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
Family means something in these parts. Family owned and operated means even more. At Rose Tractor, you're buying more than a product. You're buying years of knowledge through multiple generations. At Rose, we have the latest Cub Cadet snow throwers, single stage, 2-stage, and even 3-stage. We have Cub Cadet snow throwers that can tackle any job, large or small. Stop in and let our friendly staff help you find a snow thrower that's right for you. Rose Tractor, quality brands you can trust year after year.
Ho, ho, ho! Santa wants you to shop at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center. They have a huge variety of fun Christmas items in their Christmas cottage. There's so much to choose from, and it changes day to day. Santas and snowmen, holiday dishes and decor, village pieces and ornaments. To add to your collection or start something new, you can't beat the prices. What's old is new again for you in the Christmas cottage at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center.
When you call Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning, you get 35 years of experience and customer service in the Wenatchee Valley. Dick's friendly staff strongly believe in repairing before replacing and service all major brands of HVAC units. Dick's Heating and Air Conditioning is your local, independent, trained comfort specialists, proudly serving all of North Central Washington. Call 884-6444 today.
Contractors, furniture makers, and weekend do-it-yourselfers around North Central Washington will tell you that Lombard's Hardwood Supply is the place to get what you need. Lombard's full millwork shop can handle jobs large or small. Lombard's has a full line of interior and exterior doors available, as well as custom barn doors. From alderwood to zebrawood and everything in between, it's Lombard's Hardwood Supply on School Street in Sunny Slope. Like us on Facebook and check out our monthly special. Welcome back to Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. My teammate Megan and I have grabbed the camera gear, and we've cruised on up here to the Executive Flight Building, which has been the home of the Douglas County Port District for quite some time, but it's now going to be the brand new home of the new consolidated Port District. And I have to my immediate left is the president of the Chelan County Port District, J.C. Baldwin. To my far left, Jim Huffman, who's J.C.'s counterpart in Douglas County. Thanks for allowing us to come up and interrupt you for a day.
Great.
Well,
Good.
thanks for
Happy
having
to be
us,
here.
Dan.
It's good to have you. Show off your brand new swag there. Check it out.
Chelan Douglas Regional Port Authority swag as of January 1st.
As of January 1st. And we're going to talk about some of the things that are going to change, but some of the things that aren't going to change, that the average Joe taxpayer is not going to notice one way or the other. JC and Jim will let you both address that, whoever wants to go first. Some of the things are not going to change, even with the new consolidated port.
Well, first of all, the boards still stay the same. We'll still have 3 commissioners on each side of the river, and we'll both separately adopt our budgets and our levy rates. So we are required to maintain those independently.
And you'll also see both ports continue. You'll see our focus to continue to be on Pangbourne Memorial Airport and making sure that it's it's a viable airport, well-funded, and hopefully getting that second airline in here pretty soon. Also, both ports have a commitment to economic development in their respective counties, and that you'll see us actually even more focused on that.
In fact, you're going gung-ho, and we'll talk to the executive director of the Regional Port Authority will be joining me in a little bit. Let's talk about Pangbourne. It is, the analogy I want to use is it's like the front porch of the port. Even if you really don't have much business with the day-to-day operations of either the ports or the Regional Port Authority as it is, everybody knows the importance of Pangbourne and the importance of having a regional airport that's thriving and has a lot of boardings day in and day out.
Well, so it's not only the front door of the port, but also it's kind of the gateway to the community. Lacking freeway access drives significantly the importance of maintaining Pangbourne for local commerce. Again, as JC had mentioned, we're working really hard to try to get the second airline here with direct service to the Bay Area. Big shot in the arm for our local tech industry.
And speaking of the tech industry, you know, it's our airport, it basically serves north central Washington completely, which includes Quincy and Grant County area. And so we see a lot of traffic through the airport, commuting down to California, San Francisco Bay Area, and connections throughout the world, basically through Seattle, and a lot of folks coming up through Quincy to do that. So we have quite a broad base catchment area.
Obviously, Pangbourne's commercial flights is handled simply by Alaska via their Horizon offshoot. Is there any? We're talking about maybe getting an occasional flight down to San Francisco, a one hopper down there to the city by the bay. Any other possible airlines taking a look-see? I mean, obviously they're in it to make money. Some have tried. None of them have actually stuck around. Alaska has a monopoly when it comes to commercial air flight in and out of Pangbourne. Have you heard anything about any other airlines maybe kicking the tires a little bit?
Well, we certainly have, and I think I'll defer that to Jim when you talk to our executive director here in a little bit. I don't know if you want to weigh in on it, Jim, but I think he has the most current updates on that. So I'm going to kick that one down to him.
Yeah, I think probably what we're looking at is not a question of if we'll get the second carrier or even service to other airports. It's more a matter of when. Clearly, we've had pretty significant growth in transportation in and out of here, the number of passenger boardings. And so the airline industry, though, is constantly evolving. Every time somebody hiccups an airport, TSA reacts. So, you know, the economics there shift fairly dramatically.
How does the, we talk about some of the things that are going to stay exactly the same, but now that we have a regional port authority, a lot of people think that this has been a long time coming. They think it just doesn't make sense to have the two separate ports. Well, the marriage is almost consummated on the honeymoon's on January 1st. What, from a taxpayer standpoint, what's going to change on January 1st when it's official?
Good question.
Probably not substantial change to the taxpayer. I think what you'll see, though, is we'll have more leverage with the state and with others to bring new business here to the community. And so we will see some change in the tax base. Taxpayers may notice that. My tax at home, for example, has gone down even though my assessed value has gone up, primarily because of the data center construction across the way, across Grant Road. So they may notice that.
And, Dan, there's 75 ports in the state of Washington, right? Huge ports, small ports, some ports don't even have staff. And so we're all culturally, we all have things in common, but we're all culturally very different. And I think there's a lot to be learned with the consolidation of these two ports. We both have programs in place for our communities and our constituents that are really good programs. And I think we're going to learn from each other and be able to feed off of each other's successes and roll some of that back out into our taxpayers and to our communities. Focusing a lot on, as you know, the state now is real focused on local government. Our port districts both have always focused on small government, local government, and I think you're going to see more of that. What do you think, Jim?
Yeah, cultural, JC talks about a cultural difference, and one of the things that the Port of Douglas has been successful in doing in the past, because we've had limited resources, is being able to leverage those limited resources with state and federal monies to create new business opportunities.
Has the engagement, again, just the analogy I'm using, has the engagement been going okay? It's been a long engagement. They say long engagements are good.
I suppose. Actually, we worked together before. We've had our differences, but we've all been friends for years.
Oh yeah.
And worked together before. Again, we just work differently, and now it's a new opportunity for us. So I think it's been going as well as expected. It's been a lot of work, not so much for us as for our staff, and I can't say how much I appreciate the work that both port staff has done. And I think they're excited to work together.
There's clearly some benefits from having diversity between the two ports. what we're really doing is combining our strengths. And therein, again, like JC said, we're going to learn a lot from each other.
Does the funding mechanism for the ports, does that change at all as far as going to the state legislature for money or the tax base? Does that change at all? Does everybody still have their own piggy bank, so to speak?
Yes.
For the time being, yeah.
For the time being?
Our
Okay.
piggy bank's a little smaller.
And yet the port has become, the consolidated port has become quite aggressive in purchasing property, getting ahead of that game, turning it around and making, there is, well, the most recent one, of course, in the downtown Wenatchee, the Fruit District area. Is this something you foresaw, I don't know, a year and a half ago, doing this kind of thing?
I would credit the Port of Chelan for that forward move. The lineage property in downtown Wenatchee likely would have sat fallow for quite some time because of the size of the sale. I think Port of Chelan has done incredibly good far-reaching thinking in acquiring that property. Same with Executive Flight here. Port of Chelan stepped up and made the acquisition possible, but it enables us to consolidate our staffs and also airport staff. So we're saving quite a bit of money, not only consolidation of facilities, but consolidation of staff as well.
It makes perfect sense to move everybody here to the Executive Flight Building, doesn't it?
It does. It does, except for those of us who have to drive forever to get here now, but that's okay. Just saying. I drove up today thinking what a beautiful building it is and how nice it is going to be to have everybody in one place. I'll probably spend a lot more time here than I did in the other port offices, but that will probably we'll just hope that the staff is still happy about that. You know what, I wanted to follow up on something Jim said too.
Please.
And while I appreciate the recognition for the property purchases, we're proud to do that. But the decisions going forward will be made by the joint boards or by the Chelan and Douglas Regional Port Authority on how we develop those properties and what we do. So we'll be having a much more regional approach as of January 1st.
In fact, we'll wrap that up. January 1st comes, the consolidated port, the Regional Port Authority becomes a reality. What happens in the next 2 or 3 years? What are you going to be concentrating on, Jim, and what are you going to be concentrating on, JC, once this marriage is consummated? I'll let you go first, Jim.
We have ongoing projects that will become the focus of the Regional Port Authority. Wenatchee Landing, 300 acres out at the north end of the valley. We're starting to get infrastructure developed out in that direction, and so things are starting to move. Also, we have a focus on the smelter at Rock Island. Possibility of reusing that facility for something more in line with this century. It's interesting to note, though, too, at Rock Island, you know, the folks have inhabited that area for the last 13,000 years. So we're being sensitive to the prior inhabitants, the Native Americans that lived in this area, and I think you might see some of that theme come through.
Well, I know Mayor Agnew is very much excited about the future of Rock Island.
Absolutely.
Very much so.
He's getting a lot of residential development around the outskirts of Rock Island, and it's primarily the folks that are working in the data centers over in Quincy.
And that dovetails into the importance of infrastructure, doesn't it, Jim? No infrastructure, you can't really build these things, can you?
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, and it's important to recognize that you're right. There's a lot of state programs available, like the Public Works Trust Fund, and now that we have, as a regional port, we're going to have more airports to care for as well, some of the small regional airports.
Right.
And the legislature established a fund last year called for the Community Aviation Revitalization Board. Maybe we can take advantage of some of those programs to help with economic development in the smaller airports. But back to your question, you know, Port of Chelan County has had relationships with our economic development partners throughout our region, chambers, nonprofits, some community groups, and I'm not sure you've had that opportunity because of funding, and so we're looking forward to looking at some of the smaller communities in Douglas County and working with them to kind of revitalize some of their areas and help them with their economic development, put sort of the same programs in place we've had Chelan County and Douglas County.
Was there any instruction manual, any blueprint for this kind of marriage? Has this happened before in any of the other ports in Washington State that you can think of? I can't think of any.
No, not really. We're pioneers.
There's the Seaport Alliance, where Port of Seattle and Port of Tacoma consolidated efforts with regard to shipping facilities.
Specifically
but it's limited to that.
Yeah.
So this is a big step in this direction, and we're headed off to a regional port association meeting here a little later this week, and we've been kind of the buzz around the organization. And other ports now, I think, are actually looking at perhaps doing the same thing.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if you could ask that very question.
Exactly. You know, we will become the largest, geographically the largest port in the state now when this happens. So, yeah, it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, you seem excited to me. I mean, Jim's
We
a
are.
pretty low-key guy, but you seem pretty excited.
It's pretty hard to get me wound up at this age.
We need to get him more coffee in the mornings.
One last question, JC. What do I get me one of them vests? I want one of those.
And talk to your brother.
I'll talk to my brother about that. In fact, we will talk to my brother now that we brought that up. So, Jim and JC, it's great to see you. And again, thanks for putting out, spending some time with us here at the NCAA Live channel.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks for the
We
opportunity
appreciate it.
to talk to you. Appreciate it.
You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Oh, that's awesome. Look at that. Yeah.
There he is. Sure wish he was here.
Yeah, no kidding.
Little 4-point. It's a nice kokanee. Solid fish.
Watch the Northwest Outdoorsman with Richie Herod Saturdays and Sundays at 6 a.m., 9:30 a.m., and 4:30 p.m. on the NCW Life channel.
Hello, Wenatchee Valley, from the staff at Collins Fashions. Christy, Heidi, Georgia, Julene, Judy, and I, we are your Brighton headquarters for the Valley, and we are here to assist you with your personal and gift-giving needs of jewelry, handbags, sunglasses, etc. We carry your favorite brands such as Tommy Bahama, Karen Kane, Tribal, Jag, Nick and Zoe, Joseph Ribcop, foundations from Spanx and Shapies, cute, comfortable shoes and sandals. Our staff will style you head to toe at Collins, where fun meets fashion in downtown Wenatchee.
Hey folks, Carrie from Blueberry Hills. A chill is in the air and it's a perfect time for some old-fashioned comfort food like our amazing Eggs Benedict, chicken fried steak, French dips, soups made from scratch, or fruit pies fresh from the oven. The crowds might be gone, but we're still here for you folks, so bring an appetite and a friend to Blueberry Hills in Manson, where you pick, you sit, you eat, and you visit. Open Wednesday through Sunday from 8 to 3. wildaboutberries.com.
Join us for Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel. This former police sergeant is plugged into not only the world of the streets, he's an actor and connoisseur of the arts. So join Mike and his guests for, well, Street Talk and Other Stuff. Mondays at 10 a.m., Tuesdays and Thursdays at 2 p.m., and Wednesdays at 5:30. It's Street Talk and Other Stuff with Mike Magnotti on the NCW Life channel.
Let Fitterers Furniture help you turn your dreams into reality with their exciting selection of quality furnishing and accessories. Whatever style you are looking for, you will find beautifully crafted furniture of exceptional value and the unmatched Fitterers customer service to make this shopping experience one you will keep coming back to. Make a point of visiting Fitterers Furniture in downtown Ellensburg.
Quality selection and service since 1896.
We're back at Studio, let's say 6 here in downtown Wenatchee on this Tuesday edition of Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, 19th day of November. I am Dan Kuntz. 41 degrees with overcast skies. The clouds are already beginning to thin out. We'll have quite a bit of sunshine this afternoon and temperatures well above normal. We're going to get to that forecast in just a little bit, but first, because we have the time and we live in such a beautiful area, let's take you around the valley again with our Valley View cameras, and you can see what a difference just the last 15 minutes or so has been since we first visited the cross camera. At the beginning of this show, there was quite a bit of cloud cover. Now we're seeing some blue skies, and that's going to be the case. So we have just a couple of low-lying clouds here and there. The fog is completely burned off for the most part, and we're in for a very beautiful, by mid-morning, it's going to be quite a bit of sunshine by this afternoon. Lots of sunshine. Get used to it. It's going to be sunny on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and for the most part, spilling into Saturday before another system comes in. But a high-pressure ridge is going to nose right into our little area, which is going to keep conditions nice and dry and fairly mild. No complaints at all. We did get a little bit of rain last night into the overnight hours, and we needed it. We need actually more rain. We were way behind on the rain gauge for the month of November, which is traditionally the rainiest month of the year for the Wenatchee Valley. Instead, that happened in October, not in November. We could use the rain. Camera number 2 was another visit to our previous shot there. That's US 97 and US 2 down there in the lower left-hand corner. There we go. There's cars driving down there. The Columbia River is plainly in view there. And again, looks like 2 giant fried eggs up there in the sky. All of these cameras, courtesy of Localtel's Sky-Fi high-speed wireless. Once again, that means you can get screaming fast internet to your home, and you don't need fiber. So if you have a cabin out in the woods, but you can point the dish to one of our, 75 or so dishes all over north central Washington and the Columbia Basin, you can get high-speed internet without having fiber. It's pretty cool. Give Localtel a call. They'll take care of you. Camera number 3 is Appalantes as we look over Cashmere, Mount Stewart, Steins Hill. They're all out there. Good to see a little bit of snow on the top of the mountains there. Not expecting a great deal of snow in the lower elevations. The snow level is going to go down below 2,000 feet this weekend, especially Sunday night and a Monday, but there's no moisture associated with it. So it's going to get quite chilly in the Cascades, but since there's no moisture in the forecast, even though the snow level is going to be pretty low, no moisture to actually cause the snow. Good morning to our friends in Cashmere. Camera number 3, is that correct? Are we up to 3? No, is that 4? 4, and that's Jump Off Ridge. Again, a stunning view there, and you can see there's more and more blue skies as we get going. I like blue skies. That's the trade-off this time of the year. You can have overcast and fairly mild conditions. You can have sunshine and cool conditions. I'll take the sunshine any day of the week. So all of these views, same ones that we did just about an hour ago. Oh, by the way, the sun did come up at 7:11 this morning. I didn't do this. The sun goes down at 4:21 tonight. That means we got 9 hours and 10 minutes of daylight. We're losing about 90 seconds of daylight a day this time of the year. From our friends at Patriot Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling, they give your home a hug. The National Weather Service says that's what we're looking at for today. We're done with the rain. We're already starting to see the clear skies. We'll top off at about 50, very mild. Our normal high for this day, November 19th, will be 41 degrees, so we'll be well above that. Clear skies tonight, 31 for the overnight low. It's going to be dry, very stable with high pressure. It's going to be running the show, but it's also going to make those overnight lows a little on the cool side. 26, 30 will be below the freezing mark, so we'll be scraping our windshields for the morning commute right on into the weekend. By the way, no real wind in the forecast, and since there's no wind and we're going to have a dome of high pressure, that means we could get some stagnant air conditions. Would not be surprised at all if by this time tomorrow we have an air stagnation advisory. It's a distinct possibility. So clear skies this afternoon, clear skies tonight. Wednesday, sunshine 46. Thursday, sunshine 44. Friday, sunshine 46, just a little bit above normal. We'll be in the upper 40s on Saturday, so a little bit warmer Saturday, but quite a bit of cloud cover. It looks like slight chance of some light snow Sunday into Monday. The upper elevations have a much higher chance than down here in the lower elevations. And as I mentioned before, it has been a drier than normal November. So once the sun gets going a little bit later on this morning, we'll have nothing but sunshine right through Friday, a little bit Saturday morning, and then we go back to sunshine on Sunday and Monday. Don't really know the forecast for most of Thanksgiving week next week. It's simply too far in advance for us to give you any kind of accurate description there. Coming up tomorrow, the new CEO, if you will, of the Chelan and Douglas Regional Port Authority, Jim Kuntz, will be joining me. He joined us for an interview that we did right after we talked to J.C. Baldwin and Jim Huffman. He's currently the executive director of the Port of Chelan County and the interim executive director for the Port of Douglas County. And on January 1st, he'll have a new title as well. He'll be the CEO of the Chelan and Douglas Regional Port Authority. We'll talk about what that job entails. That'll be tomorrow. Also this week, we'll be talking to our friends at the Wenatchee Wild. We've got a lot of interviews stacked and racked and ready to go for Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. Everybody have a fantabulous Tuesday. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye-bye.